We are going to go over the heavy bowgun. So this weapon is different than most of the other weapons in the game in that it is ranged. There's only the heavy bowgun, the light bowgun, and then the bow. As far as ranged weapons, mostly. There's a couple other instances, but we're not going to go over all that. So we're going to go over the heavy bowgun. It's a bit more defensive than it is offensive, but it can still do quite a bit of offensive, and but the mobility on it is very, very limited, especially when you compare it to the light bowgun, which makes sense versus heavy versus small or light. So this weapon, easy to pull out. You can just hit triangle or R. They both do the same thing to pull the weapon out. Once the weapon is out, you can just hip fire if you want to, like so. You can see that it kind of just fires off into the distance, and you can't really aim it very well. So you don't really want to do that too often unless the monster is literally right in front of you and it's huge. Other than that, though, you're going to probably want to be aiming it as much as possible, and that's going to allow you to shoot directly into the monster and hit exactly where you want to hit. To do that, you're going to hit R2. Once you run out of ammo, if you hit R2 again, it will automatically reload, or you can hit triangle to reload if you are not completely out of ammo, and triangle will also reload for you. The next thing I want to talk about are the different ammo types with this. So you do, right now I'm using the Thunder. So if you hold down L2, I'm also going to be holding down, L1. I'm also going to be holding down L2 at the same time. Otherwise, it'll put me back into the other mode. But we're going to be holding down L1, and that'll bring up the menu here so you can switch between different ammo types. There's a lot of different ammo types in this game. So you can just kind of, once you get into the game and you start making them and crafting them and doing all that kind of stuff, you'll be able to use a lot of different ammo types. So some of them, though, are not going to be like the thunder ammo is doing damage to the enemy. It's doing thunder damage specifically. Sleep ammo will try to sleep the enemy. Poison will try to poison it, et cetera, et cetera. But you want to look at something like demon armor. You also have things like recovery ammo and armor ammo and things like that, which are going to be buffs. So you'll be able to equip that ammo. In this case, you have 2 shots with it. A lot of buffs don't have 2 shots, but this one does. So when you fire it, it puts a buff on the ground. Anybody that walks into that will then get a bonus to their damage that you can see right up there at the top of the screen, right above our health bar. So that is how the bonuses and different types of ammo work. You can just switch to whatever type of ammo that you want to use. Say you want to poison your enemy, switch to poison and fire. Boom, boom, boom. It's going to do low damage, but it's going to have a chance to poison the enemy. That's basically what you would use that for. Next up, we're going to be able to talk about the switching of modes. And this gun has 2 different modes you can use. So there is this mode, which is just the normal mode that's going to use up your ammo, whatever ammo type that you choose. Choose your ammo type wisely. And then you're going to be able to switch modes, though. And when you switch modes, it's going to burn up that bar. So you see that blue bar all the way on the far side over there. It's going to use up that blue bar when you do things. This is going to significantly change the way this gun works, as opposed to the light bow gun, which it just changes a little bit of how it works. This one gives you 2 different types of attacks. So you have your Wyvern Heart Ignition, which is the now R2. So you're just going to hit R2, hold it down, and it basically becomes a machine gun. That is essentially what this turns into, and it burns down your blue bar over there. Notice that it does not matter what ammo type you have. When you're using this, it doesn't change anything. So it's just going to continue to burn down that bar. The other thing you can do with this, which is really, really cool, is that you can do the Wyvern Counter Ignition by holding down the triangle, and it does this right here. And then when an enemy is about to attack you, you're going to release that. You can literally sit here and hold it down for a good while. I held it down until it went off right there. So you can see you have a long time to be able to hold that down. So if an enemy is coming at you, you can go ahead and just prepare for that. Wyvern Ignition. I can't do it now because I ran out of energy, but that is how that works. Right when they're about to hit you, it is a counter attack to them. It's also called an offset attack. A little bit different than that, but it's basically the same outcome, essentially, when you have counterattacks or offset attacks. Next, we're going to talk about the guard mode here. So the guard mode on this one's a little bit different than some of the other guard modes, but this is one of only 2 weapons that has the counterattack and the guard mode on it. In guard mode in this game, you can do a thing called a power clash. When you guard an enemy, you can get into a power clash. If you win the power clash, it will then stun, stagger, and open the enemy up to further attacks, very much like the counter attacks or the offset attacks do. We're going to go ahead and turn that off so it starts charging back up. You can see that your blue bar does charge back up when you're not in that mode, the mode that has those 2 extra attacks. So when you go into that mode, you have the Wyvern Heart and the Wyvern Counter. Your bar will not charge back up, so you want to make sure you get out of that mode so you can go back into it whenever you need to. In this mode or in the other mode, you have the guard though. So if you want to, you can guard and attack, but this one's a little bit different. You're going to have to actually time this one, because if you hold down triangle and circle, it just puts the guard up for a brief moment. That is it. You can't, with a lot of other weapons, you hold the guard button and it literally puts the guard up and it keeps it up indefinitely until you release the guard button. In this one though, you push the buttons and it guards for a few seconds. Because of that, there is an auto guard mode. Now, you can't guard if the auto guard is triggering. The auto guard only triggers when you're doing certain types of things, like when you're firing your gun or whatever, and an enemy tries to attack you. It could auto guard if it's coming from the front of you. There are certain things that can trigger an auto guard. But if you're not doing those things and the enemy's coming to attack you, you can hit the guard right at the right time. You can get a perfect guard, and then helps you then stagger the monster whenever you get that power clash that we're talking about. The last thing that I really want to talk about here is going to be the Focus Blast Wyvern Howl. So that's going to use up the other 3 types of ammo that is above that blue bar on the far side. You can see those 3 types of ammo over there. This one you can either hold down R1 or you can just pull R1. If you pull the trigger for R1, it'll use up one of those and it does 24 damage. Or you can hold it down and it charges it up, I believe. Hang on. It's messed up there. I think I was still in that mode where I can continue to fire it. So if we do this, we can hold it down and it charges up a little bit. Nope, it doesn't charge up. I thought it charged up like the other one does. It does not. But you can hold it down and wait for the opportune moment and then fire. The light bow gun, I think, is the one that actually charges. So I got those 2 a little bit mixed up there. I apologize. But basically that's how that works. And then those shots will come back over time. You can see on that far right hand side that it is blinking blue, and eventually it will just it'll come back with that shot. So that's basically how those work. You want to be using those whenever you can, because they're fairly quick to do, a quick 24 damage to the enemy. Also, we're going to go back to this real quick and we're going to burn this down. I don't know if I said this, but you can see right here. Okay, so we'll use up all of our blue stuff there. So we used up a good bit of it. Now, if we switch back, you can see that blue bar starting to build up. You can build it up a little bit faster if you actually shoot shots and hit those shots. So the more shots that you shoot and hit, it will build up slightly faster. I believe that the light bow gun builds it up a little bit faster than the heavy bow gun, but you can see that it really doesn't take that long to build up that blue bar. So then you can switch modes again, go right back into it, and fire again. But you want to try to make sure that you have enough of that blue bar. It takes 2 of those blue segments to be able to do your Wyvern counter. You can see that when you hold down the Wyvern counter ignition button here. You can see those two of those segments will kind of change color. The third one does not. So you can see how it's kind of building up. It's maybe 1.5 of those segments, not a full 2. But anyway, you can see how you might want to try to save enough to be able to use that if an enemy is coming in to attack. It takes a second because you could guard like that, or if you can switch and do the counter attack like so. Anyway, hopefully that helps you out in getting started with the heavy bowgun, and hopefully I see you in the next one. Bye!